time I'm taking over the hosting, so thank you all for coming. I know that it's a surprise little visit, but we have done 3 or 4 weeks now, Bronwyn. I think we've jumped on at this time, so people should be getting used to it.
Yes.
They should be jumping on just to see, you know, what surprises we have in store for them. So
they should.
You know,
I agree. Yeah, I think it is about 3 weeks. So when you come on, make sure that we know that you're here. So say hello to us as you come on, and so we know we're not talking to ourselves. So Melissa, what are we going to talk about today?
I would really, 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 really love to talk about grounding. The general theme that I've had, especially today, but over the past week or two, is for myself. I'll talk about myself first. Is the energy that's just whizzing around, like the constant reactive stuff that we need. You know, we're working on everybody else's stuff before we work on ours, because that's what we do. And I say we as in me, the royal we. And then we jump from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, and it's always fast paced. And you can probably tell by the way I'm talking, because I've had a busy day today. And that's why I think grounding would be a really great way to start us off for the rest of the evening, and having a talk about that and how we can go into the weekend cool, calm and relaxed, and what that looks like, because the energy lately has just been so full on. And other people have said the same thing, like they just feel like they're spinning their wheels all the time and not getting anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Like I would reflect on my own experience over the last sort of 2.5 weeks, and it's been like crazy. It feels like I'm in a washing machine. And I'm like, oh, I thought I got out of this washing machine when we went over the threshold of the new year, but nope, we hadn't. They were just messing with me. And so it has been crazy. And I have actually been in meetings all day. And they're back to back, to the point where I needed to almost schedule a toilet break. So that's what they look like. And it is even in that, like one of them, I was talking to my accountant, and she was even expressing the same thing, that everyone that she had been working with was in the same space. So it's not just a you and me space, Melissa. I'm aware that this is, broader energy, because even when I was talking to a friend yesterday, she was saying the same thing. Like she says, like, oh, the last couple of weeks have been like just insane, the energy. And I'm like, yes. So I know it's an energetic thing, and we're going to have these from time to time, where we're going to have these clusters of energy that, for whatever reason, feel like we're becoming unstable, or the ground just feels like it's a lot for us. And so how do we maneuver through that? So, and it is a maneuvering through, because nothing ever lasts. Like everything's always shifting and changing. So how do we maneuver through a stage of energy in a way that allows us to remain grounded? And grounding is really important. It's important. I always found it astonishing in regards to even in a connection piece. It's like you're connecting, but you need to ground. So I always thought that was an interesting concept, but it really is, for all kinds of reasons. So when we think of grounding, Melissa, what's the thing that comes up for you as far as why it's important, and what happens when you don't ground?
Okay. Firstly, hi Ella and hi Ali. Thanks for joining us. And I'd love to hear what they do for grounding as well. If you can pop it in the comments to share the love. For me, grounding is so, so important, because it stops. It stops us. It stops me from thinking of what I should have done, what I have to do. Like it just centers me right in the now. And that's not easy for everybody. And it's definitely not easy for me, because I have so many things on the go. I just need that time to stop and relax. And I have found a new little tool. Well, would it be a new little ritual of a morning to do, which I wished I'd have done sooner. But my mind is constantly racing of things that I need to do and have done, but have I finished them? Do I need to double check? And so the reason I need to ground is to bring me back down, and just to calm, to stop, to relax, and be able to actually think clearly. without thinking in survival mode or reactive, being reactive.
When I think about why it's important, there's a couple of things that come up for me. One, it's a release of excess energy. Even when I was starting my development journey, after I would do readings, I would always feel the energy in my body, particularly my legs. And so I used to have to ground, and it was quite I would do a 3-kilometer walk to get all that out. That's what it took for me to do. So I'm aware of releasing energy that is not mine, that I'm holding from the day. So I do it for that. Yeah. And the other reason I like it is for a calibration of my own energy, so ensure that it's in a way that is matching the resonance of the earth, because that induces health. So I'm really conscious of it that way. I've become to really love not having shoes, so that's the byproduct as well. My feet feel free, so I feel far more stable in that space. But the other thing too, and this is, some people will experience this and some people won't. When we are in a spiritual space, we really love to connect. It's awesome to hang out with spirit and dead people and all the other, awesome beings that exist, right? But because that's so fabulous, if we're not grounded, we can spend too much time there, and we can have a little bit of a disassociation from everyday life, because it's so much nicer than going through the challenges of life. So grounding allows us to still stay connected to this reality, even if we're not always enjoying it. Right, so it's important there.
Yeah.
And when I'm not grounded is when I don't necessarily cope with the challenges of life as well as I do when I'm grounded. Right. And so that allows me to maneuver through things that are a little bit harder when I am grounded and connected, and the energy's released and I do my process. Right. So when you think about because you said you had a ritual that you wish that you had sooner, what does that ritual look like or sound like or taste like, depending on what it is?
Well, I am not a super early morning person, but I've been getting up earlier than normal. I've been taking the time to fix myself a nice warm drink, because it's, winter in Australia. And I've actually been going outside and putting my bare feet on the grass. It's freezing. It's cold. I live down the south coast, so it's chilly down here. A bit of dew on the grass, sometimes a little bit of frost. But I've put my bare feet on there, and I just wrap my hands around my mug and sip intentionally, and set myself up for the day. Nice, clear, calm, beautiful, organised, structured day. That's my hope anyway. And then I'll just see how the rest of the day plans out. But that's how I start my mornings. I start it outside, and you don't have to go outside, but that's how I do mine, because I feel more connected. And actually, when I put my feet on the ground, regardless of whether it's wet, raining, muddy, dry, dirt, whatever, my whole body feels relief. It's probably the easiest and way that I can explain it. It's almost like when you come home from work and you fling your bra off and you just plonk down on the lounge, that kind of relief. That's the relief I feel when I've got my feet on the ground. It's like, oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Thanks for that additional information. Who knew we were going there? Hi, Teresa.
I am random.
You are definitely random. For me, my ritual, I generally don't wear shoes. And even when I have to wear shoes, or people would deem it's a situation where you would wear shoes, if I can get away without wearing them, I will definitely do that. So no shoe thing is a thing for me. And much like you, it is an outside thing. When I first started, people would say, you've got to ground, and they would give me a whole process. It was normally a visualization process where you would, like in a meditation or meditative state, you'd go through this whole process. I'm not saying that's wrong or anything like that, but it definitely doesn't serve me to the way traditional grounding is, where it's actually the connection with earth. So that's my process. Like you, it's like go outside, and spend 10 minutes with my feet on the ground and allowing that transfer of energy backwards and forwards to go into the soles of my feet, because the soles of our feet so significant, like in all different types of ways, even on a metaphysical level, like a totally woo way. They are so important. That's for another conversation. But they are really really important. And mine is, it's not a big fancy ritual. It is literally as yours is, just go and connect with the earth for a set period of time. Unlike Melissa, it doesn't feel like I'm ripping off my bra, but but it is this, for me, I can feel the frequency alignment that occurs and the transference of energy. It feels more like that for me in that process. But some people are unable to get outside, so it's not something that we can, or based on where we live, we can't always do that. So there's other things that you can do. If you can connect to a plant, and that plant happens to be connected into the ground, because sometimes everything's concrete, but there's some trees that have kind of been allowed to grow through the concrete. Like you can ground that way by connecting with, trees and plants. If you've got a pot plant that's just got, maybe you're restricted to that because you live in an apartment, but you've got a living plant, then you can use that to connect in and ground in that way. Plants will absorb our energy if we allow them to. So they definitely will do that. It's one of their service agreements. The same with cut flowers. They will also absorb our energy. It's one of the agreements that they've made to take that on. So there's a few different ways that we can ground. And if we can't do any of that because we don't have a pot plant, but we have some kind of animal around us, we can also do it. It's not as effective, but we can definitely make a connection that would seem like grounding and have a similar effect there. Yeah, that's right, Shirley, like hen on a tree. It's like hug those trees, everyone. Get out there and wrap your arms around them. For sure. Different fabric on our feet is significant too. So if we can, to the best of your ability, have shoes that are soles are made of leather. That's awesome, right? And if you can't, because most of our shoes are made of synthetic materials, then limit the amount of time they're on your feet. Would be my advice, because they're not great for you and they actually will hinder any kind of grounding process there.
Yeah.
So
my beautiful boys gave me a great big rock for Mother's Day, like from the beach. It's massive and it sits under my desk and I put my feet on it.
Yeah, so. I do remember you sharing that. So yeah. What other benefits do you think there is in grounding, particularly when we're learning, right? Or misconceptions even around grounding?
Well, actually, what's just popped into my mind is a lot of people think that the grounding mats and the grounding sheets will help. And they do to a certain extent, but my belief now, after doing a little bit more research, is that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they hold the frequency that you're at. So if we're, as psychics and mediums, if we're working up here, it won't necessarily bring us down where we need to be. It will kind of just hold us at a certain level and not give us the grounding that we want. So I think that whilst there's items like that are good if you at a pinch, I think other things like crystals help bring us down. I love a good crystal. Most of my house has got them everywhere, but that probably would be my next go-to, is to be able to help me to just expel. I don't want to say the other word because it sounds horrible. Expel the energy from my body and just to sort of drain it a little, not drain it, but lower it a little bit, because I don't want to say the other word. So
yeah, I agree. Crystals are a great option. So once again, like if we're living in an environment that doesn't allow us to get outside, connect with plants, we don't have a pet for whatever reason, right? But we can get our hands on a dark coloured crystal. right? Because remember, some crystals are going to lift you, so we've got to have the appropriate crystal that's going to ground you. So a darker crystal, that's definitely something to lean towards. And it's interesting with when you say the mats and things like that, the different beds that exist and so on. Hi, Kate. There is a place, because not everyone has mobility. So I'm aware that there are even machines that will the frequency that match the Earth's resonance. So yeah, if you have no other choice, right, then definitely, some grounding is better than no grounding, right? So if you've got no other choice and you need to use a grounding mat or these other devices that exist that have this resonance to the Earth due to mobility issues or something else, then I'm not going to say no to it. But if you can, sometimes the simplest way is the best.
Yeah. KISS is what I live by.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is being really simple and easy. That's right, Chanel. Pets are super grounding. So if you've got a pet, and when I say a pet, like some pets are more grounding than others. Your fish, not so grounding, right, because they're in water. But if we're talking cats, dogs, things like that, we think about the animal, like because it depends on your pet, right? So if you've got a green tree snake, less grounding, right? Because you've got to think about how it lives. Bird, less grounding, right? So animals that actually make connection to the earth, more grounding than animals that don't, right? Or have minimal connection to the earth. Right? But if you had a pet snake and that's all you had, then sure, it goes on the ground sometimes. So it's going to work, right? So it's working with what you've got, right? Because we're all in different kinds of ways that we live here. There. Goldfish. That's right. Look, like some people, that's their pet, right? So, I wouldn't be patting your goldfish necessarily.
Yeah. And I was actually going to bring up, Shirley's brought it up, but salt water is another thing. I mean, I live near the beach, so it's a bit easier for me, obviously. But even if you don't live near the beach, salt water in the bathtub, if you're lucky to have a bathtub, because I have lived in places that they don't put baths in houses.
But you can always put it in some kind of pot, pan, bucket.
Soak your feet in it.
And soak your feet in it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's always a good one.
Yeah. So when you were considering like starting out in your journey when you first started, right? What were the things that when you got into the grounding space that you found challenging or misconceptions, things that led you astray?
I think the need
there might not have been any.
No, there was like right at the beginning, people would say, I say people, the first person that I reached out to in regards to learning, starting my metaphysical path, it would be a huge list of things to do to get into meditation, to be able to ground. And I just couldn't do it. At that stage, I couldn't even meditate without thinking about shopping lists or what I needed to do for the kids. Or like I had younger kids at that stage, and it was just too much. So I needed something that was pretty simple. So the college, because that's where I got it from, was, can I say lifesaver without sounding too silly? But it was life-saving. When I did level 1, it had everything I needed to start. So when I started doing the grounding, I didn't have to, do all these different little things and sign off all, checklists and everything. I simply just could sit there, breathe, and try and put my mind somewhere else that wasn't thinking about lists. So for me, it was that breathing to slow down, and then the visualization of my feet sort of being in nice, warm, soft dirt and little roots coming out and sort of tucking in under the ground. And so when I was meditating, that was very basic for me to do. And I did that for years and years and years because it was quick. and it was simple. So, you know, simple, easy, fun.
Yes, simple, easy, fun.
So that was probably the lifesaver for me in the start of the journey, because we know that we need to ground first. We need to know how to ground properly first, so that we can slow the nervous system down, and slow down our thoughts and our brain, and relax.
I think, yeah, when I reflect, because it is a long time ago from when I started, and the things that probably stood out for me was that people would say you had to ground, but no one gave me the why. And the why is really important to me. I'm an analytical person. I need to understand why I'm doing certain things. Otherwise, I can't connect to doing them. I'm just not going to do something because, right? It's not who I am. And so I needed, I never got the because. So it made me really hard for me to really connect into the process. And once I understood, because it never made sense to me, like, oh, but we're lifting our energy. And all I would hear about is like, oh, you've got to raise your energy to connect. And then I had to ground. I'm like, how does that work? Like, that seems like a contradiction in my logical brain. We're going up and then down. Like, I could never understand the process in that. And so I had to really understand that the grounding actually was for my physical, not my spirit, right? There was no distinction given on the why and the components of how we worked and that mind, body, spirit connection and all the levels of energy that we work in. And that wasn't it was quite a long time until it was actually clear to me. It's like, oh no, grounding is actually for my body. Like, it's really for my body, right? And for the well-being of that there. And then my connection piece is obviously the lifting part and the spirit part. But I really, that was my challenge, where I had to rationalize that. And then there was the complexity, as you said. Everyone that had taught me gave me like a sheet of things that I needed to do. And by the time I did all those things, particularly as a beginner, when you're trying to build up your energetic muscle, right? The time I did all the things that I was supposed to do, to clear, to ground, to raise my energy, to connect, to protect, right? And then to actually do something, right? I'd done all those things, and then I actually had to do something. I really needed just to have a lay down, truly, by the time I'd done all those things. And I'm like, wow, right? And the raise the energy process was massive within what I was given within that. I'm like, this is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And so when I formulated and put things together in regards to when we constructed the Intuition Amplified course, which is for beginners, it was like, how do we give foundation information that makes sense, that is thorough, detailed, makes sense, that the person can work their way through and find the thing that works for them, right? Because it's like a smorgasbord. Here's all the things that you can try, because the test and measure as a beginner, you got to work out the things that work, right? That through that, then I'm like, whilst there's a lot of information, it is about finding a simple process, like that, right? It's not a complex process. And even like when we go through all the things that we should do, everything should be simple, because connection and using our intuition is not complex. Using our psychic senses is not difficult. People, right, in the space make it sound complicated. I think it's tied to ego to make it like it's special. Like, at the end of the day, we're not special. Anyone tells you as a psychic or medium that you're special, or you believe that you're special, I'd be like looking at your ego and having a conversation with it, because this is our innate ability. Right? Someone just told us at some point that it wasn't. And so then when it shows up, we think that we're unique. We're not. Right? And so I had to take away all the layers of what people had given me to go, actually, it's really super simple what we're doing. And that starts with grounding. Grounding is not a big process. We've given you examples of things that are super easy. And as we've said, we can use bath salts, Epsom salts, all kinds of things to ground us. So there's really no excuse, based on everything that was said, for someone to find a method to ground, a method other than a visualization. And that's your last port of call if you've got nothing else. But I actually don't believe that anyone couldn't find one thing in what we've said there. And the other thing that is the takeaway in that is too, if someone has given you a really in-depth process to start and connect, then I'd say there's probably about 90% of what you've been told you need to get rid of. It doesn't mean that you don't, do energetic work and things like that, but to actually connect is a very simple process. And when it feels hard and complicated, it's because you don't have a structure and you don't know how to do it in a simplified way, which is what we've done when we've created the Intuition Amplified courses, to make things simple.
Yeah.
Right? Hence why we say simple, easy, fun. Not our phrase. We have been gifted it, and now we are repackaging it. Thank you. I always just like to thank him, like from the other side, like, thank you, Kerwin.
Yes.
So in closing, what would be something that you would like to share in the topic of grounding, right, that you think for someone that is starting their journey that they need to consider?
Keep it easy. Be consistent with it. Because if it's easy for you and you just pick one thing, not a million things, then you will do it. And we need it, regardless of whether you're wanting to go into working with people, like readings or anything like that. If you're just doing this for self-development, you still do the same thing, because the whole college was built for self-development. So if you're moving into this area and you're really wanting to live a better life than what you're currently doing, it starts with grounding. It starts with settling the nervous system. It starts with just stopping. So the most simplest way to do it is to pick one thing, do that for a little while. Once that becomes a habit, then you can pick something else. So it might be as simple as just sitting there and watering your plant and having a chat to it while you're drinking, a warm lemon tea or something like that of a morning. It might be going outside and having that, cacao milk while you've got bare feet on the grass. Whatever it is, pick one thing that's very, very easy, because let's face it, life it's not hard, but there's so many things that we're juggling, and you don't want to give up on yourself. Awesome. So one simple thing, and make it consistent, and then build from there. And then once you do the course, we'll give you more homework.
That's funny. For me, if I was starting over again and I was considering grounding and something that I had to do in that space, the things that would be my takeaways: yes, it needs to be super simple, right? Not complex. But the other thing is that it needs to be daily. So this is a daily thing, as Melissa has indicated, that you would habit stack on top of it. But it is like the self-care piece that you do every single day. This, and there's a couple of others, but I would start with this, because not only is it great in the spiritual space, it's also great in the physical health area. So it benefits you spiritually and physically. And so this is why I would say every single day, commit to 5 to 10 minutes where you allow yourself to connect with something that is connected to the earth. Actual earth, the thing that we're on, that. It will change your frequency. That's actually what it does. Right. So if you're thinking about how do I change my frequency, this is where you start, with grounding there. And as I said, as Melissa even indicated, then later we'd give you all these other things. But start with that before we stack all the habits on you to create a real well-being space for you there. So do you have before we jump off, anything that you want to close with, Mel?
I just want everyone to know that it is simple, easy, and fun. And to join us for level 1 when it pops up. If you've already done level 1, level 2 is coming up soon, so jump into that as well, because there's so much information. And yeah, it's all structured. It's all easily palatable. Like, you can understand it. You can integrate it easy. It's not hard. It's just so easy, and your life will absolutely thrive once you embrace it and move forward in your own journey, like your own soul path. So yeah, that's mine.
Good
Sign
closing.
up. Sign up now.
Good closing. Mel's done the pitch. I'm not doing that. But what I will say to you as someone that's created the college for everyone to learn in a really simple, easy, fun way is that the benefit of spiritual development is, yes, there's technical skills that we all want to learn and all that kind of stuff. But the most amazing thing that happens as a result of it is the change within it that occurs, right? That you get to take off the things that life has put on top of you. And so wherever you are and to me, wherever you're learning, it really doesn't matter. You could be learning by yourself. You could be watching or listening to podcasts. You could be doing a formal course somewhere. You could be studying with us. Doesn't really matter. Like I don't, that part doesn't worry me. But the main thing that really excites me is that if as a collective, as a group of humans, that we feel that this is something that we are drawn to, that we lean into wherever feels right for us, right? Doesn't matter if it's at the college, as I said, don't care where it is, that we lean into that, because the change that occurs with an individual when they embrace the spiritual aspect of themselves changes everything within them. So therefore it changes their outer world because their inner world's changed. And that is profound. Like, I wish I could bottle that, because it is just so amazing when you actually feel whole. And when you don't, and for me, when I didn't really, and I was raised with faith, it's not the same. But I didn't realize, I knew something was missing, but I didn't know what it was until I got to this space and understood it and experienced it and really integrated it, and then I understood it. So if you are drawn to any kind of spiritual topic, wherever, right, lean into that and you'll never regret it at all. That's what I want to finish with. So on that, I'm going to thank you all for coming, hanging out, chatting with us, sharing what you've shared in the chat. I appreciate all of you. So I do, and think that, you know, Mel and I would always talk, just the two of us, right? We don't really, we just like that. But it's nice to know that we're not just talking amongst ourselves, and you're actually here supporting us. So we do appreciate that totally. There. Remember that we show up on Thursdays here. Sometimes, most of the time it's 5 o'clock, but because of my day to day, it was a little bit later. So sorry, we're a little bit late. But no, put this in your calendar. We are always going to be here at this time. It won't always be Mel and I, but it'll be one of the two teachers from the college coming and discussing things that we have learned, things that we want to share. To be able to add value to whoever is drawn to listening and engaging with us. So on that, I'm going to wish you well. Mel, what would you like to say?
You. I just want to also reiterate the friendships that I've made in this little community that we've got, because it is a safe space and there's no judgment, and it's like I've found my people. And if you're searching for somebody that has the same abilities that you didn't realize that you had, and you can't find those people in your world that you've got now, you found them here, because the college is absolutely amazing and everyone is so accepting of each other. So supportive as well. So yes, I love it. I love it. And I speak everything from the heart, and I don't say sign up, because you should, but you should. But I say sign up because I know that it will just change your life. It will absolutely change the world. Because it has mine.
Mel. Thanks. Thanks for all the fabulous words. All right, guys, go and enjoy whatever you are going to do now, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.